Hello and welcome to Flooring Models Kit Review Time. Today something I haven't done for ages actually. We haven't done a ship or a waterline series ship in a long time. So we've got Aoshima's 1:700 scale HMS Kent to have a look at. Okay, so classic old ship. She's one of the ones from the sort of 1920s. Lovely box art on the front. I think reading the notes on this one, this is where it was hit by a torpedo which knocked out its steering, but it was still towed back. It successfully made its way through World War II and then was scrapped, I think, in around about 1948, according to the blurb in the box. So anyway, something a little bit different. One thing that surprised me, and I'm itching to get inside the box, is it's really heavy. I don't know why it's so heavy. I assume it's got a little bit of metal in here as well, perhaps to keep it down or something, but very nice indeed. Anyway, as you can see, British heavy cruiser from World War II. Also, you do get the planes. So we've actually got the, what are these ones called? There's a, I can't remember whose ones they were now. The MBs, SM79s. As you can see down in here as well. So again, we get the props for those in photo etch, get a little bit of photo etch sheet down in there as well. Really nice. Again, it's waterline series as well, so there's no full hull on this one. So working our way around on here. So your kit number for this one is 056714. And again, a little bit more, and that's literally where I've just read the blurb from as well. So as you can see, yes, she was broken up in 1948, but she was actually, first hull was laid in 1924. So yes, she's been around. Alright, so in the box itself we are greeted by very nice sprue. So it's waterline, so a nice flat bottom down in there as well. Some very nice raised and recessed details, you can see straight off the bat. Lots of separate bags for all of the details down in here. That's probably why it weighs so much. See, lovely details. So we've got the main guns down in there. We will be flipping over to the closer. Is that a Sunderland? We've actually got a Sunderland down in here. We've got a Wellington bomber by the looks of it as well, and various other ones. I don't know if that's a Walrus down in there. So we have got some other aircraft in there to look at as well. And again, more main guns and parts. More main guns. How many main guns has this thing got? It must be different versions perhaps. And again, we've got the stacks down in there, the various bits. There we have the bombers. So we've got a couple of those down in there as well. And then we've got the deck. So we've got the full deck and the areas as well, looking very nice indeed. Then we've got the little bit of photo etch we said about before. Got some parts down in there, so that's very nice. That's why, that's the heavy bit. That's the heavy lump for it. So we've got a bit of metal down in there. That explains why the box is so heavy. We've also got some brass tubes or pipes, bars even. We've got a little correction sheet down in here as well, it looks like. And we've got the ones for the planes, as I said. So these are those SM79s. So those come, got you, okay. So these guys down in here and these bars, I assume, are for making these for in-flight displays, which makes sense. So, okay, we've got you now. And then we've got markings down in there just like that. Okay, and then eventually down here we get the instructions. So again, we've got two lots by the looks of it. We will look into this in a moment. So start off with down in here. Unfortunately, it's got a big crease down the middle. I do apologise. Right, we're going to pull out anyway. Fair enough, that makes it a little bit easier. So again, there's your built up ship. So again, working, we've got a Walrus going down in here as well, and then obviously we've got the braces coming across for actually putting the hull together. We've got the deck going down in there, and this is the ballast, as we were saying. So that explains the weight of it. So we've obviously got two, I assume, steel sheets down in there, which are going to go down in there and make that part up. All right. Then we've got some of the superstructure going on the top being fitted, and then the layering up process begins on all of these ones. And as you can probably see, there's a great deal of detail with all these small parts being added down into these as well. All right, so there's lots of different bits and pieces going down in there, and you are just working your way up through all the different levels on the superstructure as well as you are. So again, we've got dinghies being fitted down there and life rafts, things like that, as well as obviously the actual equipment for various areas down in here. So there's lots of this going through. So again, we've got the stacks being fitted down into this one, and obviously then being done onto the ship. More of the superstructure being built up right the way through. Then we've got the smaller guns, so I assume we've got the anti-aircraft sort of pom-pom guns down in here, and the light guns being fitted down into this one. And then obviously we've got the heavy gun system being fitted down onto this one, so we've got the turrets for those all going in there just like that. Then obviously more launches and things like that being fitted down onto this one, and then more of the equipment. So obviously we've got things like cranes being fitted onto this one. We've got the launcher rail for the actual walrus aircraft itself, and then obviously various things for the masts and bits and pieces like that. As we were saying, it's a bit weird because I wonder why they're in here, but obviously it's saying not to use, but it does come in the kit, a lot of these ones. So we've got various guns, and obviously we've got things like we were saying the Wellington and that Sunderland, which is saying it's not used, but obviously they are down in there. So you could give them a go. Again, it's one of those, it actually looks a little bit more complex than it actually is. So we spoke about this one. This is our the actual metal work for it. So we're not worried about looking into those. And again, we've got the bars for making for the aircraft in flight. So what's going to happen then, if we can find them, it's these ones, which I don't think we really need to get out, but I'm intrigued to know what it is, so we will. So we've got the photo etch and the bars down in here. So what's in there? What is in here? That's what I want to see. Has it got a little... It's very, very tight. They've cut this incredibly close. We might have to nip the paper off. I assume it should be a colour. There we go. So there we go. It's showing the photo etch and where the photo etch goes. So it's saying about the props down there. There's those parts for the outside, and that's that rear area as well. So actually that's very nicely done. Again, it sort of ties in with the instructions as we said. So it's almost like an extra part. So there's your photo etch for it. And then obviously we've got these stands which go with these bars for the aircraft. Okay. Right, makes sense to me now. I was a little bit lost. Okay, so starting with the main parts down in here. You can pop those down in there. So to start with, we've actually got the sides, as you can see. Nice mixture, recessed and raised details down in there. It is waterline series, as we know. So that's that one. And then obviously we've got the bottom of it down in there, the sides, and we've got some very small parts on here as well. Okay. Next up we've got the... Let me get this, that should go. Crikey, I've got so much of this. Would help if it came with a pair of optivisors, because you're going to need them for building this. So there we go. This is the deck. Say foredeck down in here, and then obviously all the various parts of the different levels. And again, it's got a very nice raised texture. It's going to kill the camera. I hate stuff like this, but it has got some very nice recessed and raised obviously details down this, as we would hope with a real thing. Underside, again. Interesting way they've done the underside like this, but there we go. Fair enough. And we've got some of the parts. So this part down in here, I assume is replaced by photo etch, because obviously we've got the photo etch option, but you can see some of the smaller details with all of those down in there. Lots of it. That's fair enough. And again, we've got the crane, as you can see down in here as well. Very nice indeed. So we've got the aircraft we've briefly looked at before, so we can see those down in here. And again, we've got the holes underneath to put them in those brass rods for sort of in-flight pose, which is fair enough. Right, where do we go? So some of these we can see. So down in here we've got some of the life rafts. So it's a match pair with this one. So literally you've just got both sides of it just like that, which is fair enough. Very nice indeed. Then we've got, just go for a bag. Again, some of the smallest parts. Again, I think these are replaced by photo etch, but not 100%. So, and again, we've got the main guns. Again, all looking very nice indeed. And again, match pair with that one. And then we've got this one under here, which is a sprue 19 or sprue E, with some of the stacks going down there. And the other parts, that's nice. Into the really small stuff down in here. So we've got various anchors. Again, another match pair with these. So we can sort of show it like this. But as you can see, nice details with those. Just be mindful there is a couple of versions of this around, so you don't want to be sort of jumping in. Check your numbering before you commit to glue. So again, lots and lots of tiny details on those. With obviously with the smaller weapons, we've got some of the lifeboat launchers, things like that on there as well. So yeah, lots and lots of tiny details. And we've also got, so the Sunderland one here, it doesn't use it, so we won't bother going down in there, but that's what that one is all about down in there. All right, you have got on the back here, which I'm sure you do use, though, some of the tiny little sort of flagpoles and radio masts, things like that down in there. And then this one over here, again, another match pair with these ones. So again, on sprue G main guns, some more small parts, some more life rafts, all the small details which really bring a kit like this alive, and it needs it. Like, don't get me wrong, you know, it's one of those areas where you think sometimes, you know, is it over the top having all that tiny detail? Something like this, you're looking for it because you know it's actually got it. Last up, we said before, we got the flags. So we got the Union Jack down in there, and all the small ones, and again, some of these ones obviously for the aircraft as well, for their markings. So again, you can draw your whichever way you want to do it. So you can have it literally just as the ship. You can show it as a little diorama with the air attack going on, various different ways to it. Again, this is one of those things where I said before, 1 to 700 scale ships, it's one of those things. They're incredibly small, tiny little details, but it's those details that actually bring the kit physically to life, and then again gives great depth. And said with the waterline series, especially if you're doing it on a water little diorama setting and things like that, they absolutely pop and come to life, and it's all those tiny details that just make it absolutely sing and come to life. So there we go, that is Aoshima's 1 to 700 scale HMS Kent.